Gospel of Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord Christ.
Jesus went out and sat beside the sea. Such great crowds gathered around him and sat there. The crowd stood on the beach, and he told them many things, saying, "Listen, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell on the path, and the birds came and ate them up. Where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up quickly, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell, the thorns grew up and choked them out. Other seeds fell on good soil and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Let anyone with ears listen. Hear then the parable of the sower. Understand it. The evil one comes and snatches away what is sown in the heart. This is what was sown on the path. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one root, but endures only for a while. And when trouble or persecution arises on account of the word, that person immediately falls away. As for what was sown among thorns, this is the one who the world and the lure of wealth choke the word, and it yields nothing. But as for what was sown on good soil, this is the one who hears and understands it. Fruit and yields, in one case 100-fold, and in another 30. This is the gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
You may be seated. Sometimes when Jesus tells, he simply leaves it at that and leaves the listener to interpret the parable on their own. This is actually one of the parables where Jesus lets us in on the secret. And we should start by saying that this parable seems to be less a judgment about who is good and who is bad, and more an observation about when the conditions are right for seeds to spring up healthy and strong. Jesus doesn't seem to be issuing a condemnation, but an observation, describing the reality of how we respond to the gospel. The reality of how we react to God's kingdom breaking into ours right now, to how we receive the life that God is giving to us. This parable is how we respond to Jesus. And the fact is, Jesus says, it is a mixed reception. So at the center of this parable is a crazy farmer. And I say crazy because extravagant, right? He is so free with the way he is throwing seeds everywhere that, in fact, it actually seems wasteful, right? It's not good farming practice. Throw seeds without abandon. And so the farmer seems careless. He is being generous. The farmer is not being careless, he is being generous. On thin, rocky ground. He knows that he is throwing seed in the thorny bush. He knows he is throwing seed on the road. He knows seed on not just the good soil, but he's throwing seed everywhere. Everywhere he goes, the seed goes. And then Jesus tells us about this seed. He says the seed is the word of the kingdom. Well, what is the word of the kingdom? Well, the word is the same one that Jesus proclaimed in Mark's Gospel, chapter 1. Comes on. The time is fulfilled. God's kingdom has come near. Around and receive the good news, which is that God's kingdom is here. God's power is here. God's rule is here right now. Proclaims. But of course, not only is it the word that Jesus proclaims, we know in John chapter 1, that word is also Jesus himself. But he is also the one who embodies the word. That is, Jesus is God's kingdom here among us. In his birth, the forgiveness of sins. With God's kingdom, the exile is over. Our separation from God. With God's kingdom here among us, God's law is fulfilled. God's love is showered upon us. God's grace is upon us. In Jesus, the embodiment of God's kingdom, and restoration are here. The covenant is renewed, and all things are being made new. In short, and God wins. God defeats sin and the devil and death so that you can live in the freedom of the life that truly is life. Well, that is the everywhere, extravagantly, pervasively. There is no place that the seed isn't. Right? God's grace, God's is absolutely everywhere. Even on the bad soil. Even when we are bad soil. And Jesus you to shape. Quit being bad soil. And here, receive the seed. Receive the seed. Jesus is here. And God's kingdom is being planted within you. Because, and he is doing the very things that he has promised. Well, this sounds like such good news. And yet there are times we don't hear it as such. Because if God isn't, well, it means we are not. And how do I like that? I mean, I do like it. I do like that God is in charge, but I don't always live like it. And I take more than I should. I fall prey to greed, competition, envy, rather than living in the gift of God's great abundance. I worry about what others think of me, but I want to be a success. And I want to be a success in the way that the world defines success, right? Power, popularity, be impressive in both quantitative and qualitative measures. And I think there are those times when it's not just that I want to experience success, and times when it's more like I want to be successful. That is, I want it to be obvious that the success that I am experiencing is because of me, right? Not just dumb luck. If I'm affirmed or if I'm celebrated, I can feel good because then my identity is. But as hard as I work for security and for freedom, it's not. And living this way is not freedom. Secure and always looking for the next hit of affirmation. Always hearing the voices asking, yeah, but what have you done for us lately? Right? That's not freedom. It's a burden. It's not joy worrying about what's next. Am I staying in control? Am I in control of the situation? Am I in control of others? Am I in control of my emotions? Honestly, rarely. Well, this is not the life that truly is life. But God doesn't give up. And God does. He brought to him also. But what kind of soil are you? Well, you are the God is saying, here, I have a gift for you. The seed is everywhere. The seed is everywhere. So be ready. Be ready. The fruitful, abundant kingdom life. Be ready to experience the life that truly is life. Because the farmer is here. And he is here